Ayo gang, what's happening? So check it out. There's an update with the YSL case. I just saw it and I gotta look up the video to see if we can find it and do a little reaction to it. I want to share this knowledge with you, but the judge is clearly upset about what's going on in this case. So let's see if I can find it. Streamed 1 day ago. Yeah, we got, this is 1 year ago. Hold on, we filter. I believe it's this. We'll watch that. We'll check that. 3 days ago. Seating begins. Election just days away. It seems to be a couple different things. Alright, so let's get into these videos real quick.
I just am. This is ridiculous. Your witness list has grown by 2/3.
Yeah, this is what I saw. So check it. Basically, the judge is pretty upset that the prosecution keeps delaying their evidence and withholding evidence and increasing their witness list, and nothing has yet to like say why they're doing that or justify, like reasonably justify why they're doing this. So at this point, he's saying they have until the 16th. You know, on the 16th, they better come with a real good reason or he's throwing it all out, which got me feeling like, yo, either the 16th we're gonna hear some really crazy stuff or Young Thug might finally get to leave. Like, what do you think? Comment down below and let's check out the rest of it. But just, yeah, comment down below. Let me know if you think he might get out or if I'm capping, if I'm tripping.
Sits there. And I don't know why. You better have a dang good explanation on the 16th. Because if you don't, I'm going to exclude it. But right now, I'm telling you, without anything further, it's gone.
Well, we would like to
include a lot more on that date because this is ridiculous. There is no plausible explanation I've got and that would suffice. That we just kind of keep, well, you keep dripping and driving out evidence.
Well, we'll be asked to be heard on the 16th, Your Honor. We'll have all the explanations for the court.
I'm telling you, it better be a good explanation. If it's not, I'm going to exclude it. Really,
yeah, what I saw was a little longer, but I gave you the gist of it, right? So now let's get into these other videos that we just clicked on.
Young Thug is scheduled to appear in court today in Georgia on related charges. The rapper, whose real name is Jeffrey Lamar.
Hold on. Before we continue, this video was by District Trending. You know how we do. We always like to subscribe to whoever videos we're reacting to. Drop a like. You could always go check out the original on their page. Or you could stay here, listen to it here. I'm gonna give my reactions at the end. I got my drawings over to the side. I'm gonna be working on a drawing live while the reaction is going on. Now let's continue.
Williams was one of 28 people named in an indictment in that state.
Young Thug's lawyers found a way to have him released from jail. It all begins with a man named ysl-Trial, who was acting like this in court last week.
I'll deal with that accordingly.
Oh, that was a while ago.
Client, I noticed, has been doing the same behavior, and I believe Judge Adams inquired into it as well. So I don't believe that he may be doing this for the purposes of just drawing attention to himself. But of course, sir, as you are well aware, I'm duty-bound to consider whatever it is you want to tell me. But your client's nodded in affirmance. He just has some extra movements that the court entirety of this particular proceeding. So you haven't said anything up to this point in time, so I'm going to assume that that's something that you and he are working through.
Young Thug's lawyer was arguing that he needs to be removed from the ysl-Trial, as recently he started acting like this inside a court.
Now, I remember this. I'm gonna just, full disclosure, this video must be a little old, or maybe it's gonna update, because I remember this, like, this was a while ago. and they ended up throwing all this out. They were like, man, you doing all this antics for games. So in fact, I'm gonna just speed up the video. You already know how I do. Hopefully we can move through this part a little faster and see if he actually like catch up to real timeline, or if this video actually is old.
As it would then be announced, YSL Polo has been removed from the YSL RICO case, which is huge for Young Thug. But the real win comes with a report of Lil Woody only snitching on Young Thug because he was forced to. As reports would go and read, Brian Steele says Lil Woody was told he would get 25 years in federal prison in a different case if he didn't cooperate against Young Thug, aka Snitch.
Really?
The state refuses to give anything to the defense concerning the federal agent that went after Lil Woody with this. Brian Steele wants to put her on the stand to show the jury that Woody was told to lie about Jeffrey Williams.
Specifically on the recording, KC, that he will get, that she spoke with the U.S. Attorney's Office, and he is facing, if he does not cooperate against Mr. Williams, he's facing 25 years at a minimum charges in federal court, and there's no parole. I do not have one document, not one note or memoranda provided in discovery concerning ATF agent Cunningham.
As you need to remember, in the original report, it would be announced truth teller YSL Woody hopped out on the gram last year after cooperating with police for 3 hours in solving over 50 crimes, telling on Young Thug, YFN Lucci, and others. As Lil Woody sat with a police officer snitching for around 3 hours on Young Thug. When this was even revealed in court months ago, this was Young Thug's reaction.
Yeah, I remember that.
Because in the first ever YSL court hearing, it would be announced by the prosecutor that they have amazing proffer deals by YSL members that are snitching on Young Thug. And they were only snitching because they were forced to by law enforcement.
He's the one directing traffic. He is the one they're all afraid of. He's the one that's King Slime. He is the most dangerous.
Look how they paint him, bro.
And I implore you not to grant him a bond.
You know they want him, bro.
If he gets a burner, Judge, and the court may know this, a lot of the communications that Mr. Williams is on FaceTime, because it's not traceable, it's not trackable. Judge, I will also say,
if he gets a burner, that's speculation, son.
From Mr. Williams, some are on this indictment, some are not. They have stated uniformly that Mr. Williams is dangerous. They are afraid of him, that if they cross him, he will kill them and their family. And they were very clear about that.
Concerns that this court has is danger to persons and to intimidate other witnesses and obstruct the administration of justice. So and for those reasons in the aggregate, I'm going to deny bond at this time.
As this is a major crime that was committed against Young Thug in his own trial. Lil Woody never even wanted to snitch, however he was forced to. If Young Thug's lawyers can prove that this was done like this, all of the evidence provided by the YSL snitches will no longer be usable against Young Thug, and Young Thug's team can sue law departments that were doing this to him. So while trying to figure out Lil Woody's snitching situation, Young Thug's lawyers are paying YSL members to have court sessions delayed. This way they can build a court case for a bail hearing. An example of this is the first day back of the YSL RICO trial a couple weeks ago. The entire courtroom was sent home early after several altercations rised inside and outside of the courtroom.
Oh, I guess he does catch up. Yeah, because most of this is starting to get more recent and recent. Okay. Thug was like, yo. It was like a whole brawl outside, bro. It was like low-key crazy.
However, this is where things get a little concerning, as new charges are being added against Young Thug. To understand this, we need to look deep into Young Thug in the YSL rap group's Rituals with Goats, as they were performing some sort of rituals. This way they can get music to the top of the charts, trying to beat out of legal cases.
But in this case, Hassan says he's unclear what specifically a goat could represent.
The theory behind animals is you're draining their energy, their power, and to use for mystical purposes, and obviously interviewing former members who were present who could explain the context and what if any ceremony was taking place. Then you have some illumination possibly on it.
He also said animals may be illegal in some areas and not protected under religious freedom.
Hold on.
As it just so happens where Young Thug lives, it is one of the states where it is illegal to do these actions that YSL was doing with goats. With added charges against Young Thug, it could minimize his chances at receiving bond. However, it's making it very clear that Young Thug is being targeted for absolutely everything possible. Things would get even worse. And to understand this, we need to go back into the YSL Polo situation, as fans would investigate all of the YSL members that are currently in jail and did not snitch against Young Thug. Allegedly, YSL Polo, the man acting very strange, was in the same cell block as a man named Khalif Adams. He is also a YSL member, however, he was caught trying to slip Young Thug something during the first court hearing. As a report would share, my colleague Mark just obtained surveillance video that shows the moment prosecutors accuse Young Thug and his co-defendant, Khalif Adams, of conduring a hand-to-hand deal inside of court.
Yeah, bro, this was so stupid, bro. Watch this. Immediately.
Which really makes you wonder, did Khalif Adams maybe give YSL Polo something for him to act this way during the court sessions and it wasn't all just a lie? As the Twitter thread continues, prosecutors say the surveillance shows Adams walking over to where Young Thug is seated with his attorney, and then he drops narcotics in his hand. A deputy confronts Young Thug and he turns the item to authorities. When deputies searched Adams, they found him in possession of narcotics wrapped in plastic and food seasoning to conceal the odor. Adams was then taken to Grady Hospital after he appeared to ingest other items of contraband in an effort to conceal the extent of his crime within the courtroom. As this is when Young Thug's lawyer would need to step in, clarifying that Thug had nothing to do with this and it was all Khalif Adams.
The reality is, Mr. Williams had nothing to do with what went on in the courtroom on yesterday. One of the co-defendants, on his way to the restroom, attempted to pass something to Mr. Williams, who immediately turned it over to the deputy.
He did not know it was allegedly purchased?
Did not know. Well, we don't know what it is. Did not know what it was, turned it over to the deputy right away. The deputies took action. The individual who had the contraband, not Mr. Williams, was taken into the back.
As while this is all going on in the Young Thug trial, in the outside world, Young Thug's father is trying to do some cleanup on Young Thug's name as well, as he would be interviewed this week, stating the following about Gunna.
Courtney said, how do you feel about Gunna?
I love Gunna.
See, that's the thing. People don't understand the relationship. They got this thing saying that Gunna is a rat and he's done this and done that.
No, but let me try to help the attorney clarify that a little simpler. Okay. Gunna hasn't done anything whatsoever that can hurt us on this case. Period.
As this interview almost seems a little forced. Many believe that Thug's lawyers told Young Thug's dad to do this, as maybe the judge and law officials may have believed that if Young Thug were to get released, that he would do something as revenge against Gunna, which would then make them never want to release Young Thug. However, according to rappers, what Gunna did completely ruined Young Thug's life, which completely goes against what his father said. An example of this was when 6ix9ine hopped on a Clubhouse call with Wack 100, explaining that Thug is in a terrible situation due to Gunna's plea deal.
So me pleading guilty is only making it worse for my man. I'm saying I was there. Yes, I did it. I plead guilty. I am guilty. I am guilty. Anything you said in that courtroom is going to be used against your man, my man. That is open.
As just a week after that call, he would then even meet up with DJ Academics to share more thoughts on Gunna snitching.
He just implicated YSL being so now home, right? All the people who's locked up, like Jeffrey, like Young Thug, now he can't go with that defense. He can't go with the defense of saying, I'm a record label.
As while Gunna's snitching may not have affected Young Thug's life, according to Thug's father, we're currently learning that it's actually doing a lot more to rappers in the Atlanta area. What we're witnessing right now, and you may not even realize, is a complete takeover of the music industry by RICO charges by the Atlanta DA. She's been offering amazing proffer deals to many YSL members to snitch against Young Thug, as these same YSL snitches now have mentioned Lil Baby's name. DJ Academics would report that Lil Baby, as well as members of 4PF, are next up on the DA's RICO list.
Yeah, I remember this. She did say that. She said that herself. Right.
As Lil Baby would then even react.
You heard that clip? In over the next like 60 days, you'll see 2 more. That was her. Oh, I think they showed it. I was looking down. My bad.
He's RICO list.
In-depth investigations. Recent months, you've had 2 high-profile racketeering cases.
Yeah, they did show it.
As Lil Baby would then even react to this while at an airport.
How you doing, Lil Baby? Cool, baby. Well, baby, how's Young and Young Thug doing? I know all the circumstances. Just want to see how they holding up good. All right, love what you doing, man.
All right, gang. So we had that, and we had something else lined up, I believe. Yes, sir. We had this lined up. Now, somebody throws in the towel. What is when you plead guilty ahead of time? When was this posted, gang? Alright, this was like a day or two ago, maybe.
Mr. BB, if you can please raise your right hand.
I'm right now.
Mr. BB, you can please state your true and correct legal name.
Say it again.
Can you please state your true and correct legal name?
Monetized, BB.
And are you the same person referred to on the indictment you just signed of 22 SC 183572? Did you just sign that indictment?
Yes.
Okay. Are you at this time taking or under the influence of any alcohol, drugs, or medicine?
No, ma'am.
How old are you?
23.
And how far did you go in school?
I went far.
What's that mean?
Like 12.
You went to 12th grade?
Mm-hmm.
Did you graduate?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a yes?
I mean, yes.
Okay. Are you able to read, write, and understand the English language?
Yes.
Bro, what? I went far. What kind of answer is that?
With respect to indictment 22 SC 183572, how do you plead to conspiracy to violate the Racketeer Influence and Corrupt Organization Act? Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
How do you plead to theft by receipt of stolen property? Guilty or not guilty? How do you plead to violation of the Georgia Controlled Substance Act in count 9? Guilty or not guilty?
What?
How do you plead to violation of the Georgia Controlled Substance Act as to count 10? Guilty or not guilty? How do you plead to possession of a firearm by a convicted felon? How do you plead to participation in criminal street gang activity? How do you plead to armed robbery reduced to robbery by force? How do you plead to hijack a motor vehicle in the first degree? Is this guilty plea freely and voluntarily given with a full knowledge of the charges against you? Do you understand that you have only a limited right to appeal this guilty plea conviction?
No way,
Do you
gang.
understand that you have only 4 years from today's date for the felony charges to file a habeas corpus petition challenging the voluntariness of this guilty plea? Your Honor, had this case proceeded to trial, the state of Georgia would have proved beyond a reasonable doubt that in late 2012, within the Cleveland Avenue area of Atlanta, Georgia, that YSL, who claimed affiliation with the National Blood Gang, was formed. The founders of that organization were Jeffrey Williams, also known as Young Thug, also known as Slime, Walter Murphy, also known as DK, and Trontavia Stevens, also known as Tick or Slug. That this organization uses a number of different identifiers, including colors, clothing, tattoos, and hand signs in order to show affiliation with that organization. That this organization is part of the enterprise, which is Young Slime Life, and that this defendant was a member of this enterprise and conspired to and associate together with others for the common purposes of illegally obtaining money and property through a pattern of racketeering activity and conducting and participating in the enterprise through a pattern of racketeering activity. In furtherance of the conspiracy, he engaged in a number of different crimes. Specifically, Your Honor, 2 of those crimes in racketeering activity, first being one occurring on May 8th, 2012 at 151 Cleveland Avenue, which is in Southwest Atlanta, Georgia, 30315, which is an Exxon gas station in what is known to be the Young Slime Life Gang territory. That Mr. BB was a part of an undercover sting operation at that gas station. Officer Applewhite, APPLEWHAITE, was operating in an undercover capacity. He went inside of the gas station and encountered the
They had undercovers, bro.
Officer Applewhite asked to purchase marijuana.
Bro, they've been on them, bro.
How much marijuana? Officer Applewhite advised he wanted $20 worth. The defendant then went to the area of the store, weighed up the marijuana, and gave that marijuana to Officer Applewhite. Once the sale was completed, other officers came in
for $20 worth, bro.
Mr. BB under arrest.
Bro.
When they placed him under arrest, he was found with marijuana on his person as well as a gun. The gun was then ran and it came back stolen out of East Point Police Department from a car break-in in August of 2019. Additionally, Your Honor, About a year and 6 months later, in October 12, 2021, this defendant, along with co-conspirator Christian Eppinger, were at 47 Cleveland Avenue, Southwest Atlanta, Georgia, which is also in the Young Slum Life gang territory. While there, the victim, Mr. Darius Smith, was at that location, which is a park next to a library. Mr. Smith was speaking with a friend of his, and while speaking with that friend, there were two black males. Described, one had a blue and black ski mask with a black and silver handgun. The other suspect had a black ski mask with a black handgun. They approached Mr. Smith and stated to him, "Give up that chain." Mr. Smith had a large chain that was very identifiable. That chain was a diamond encrusted chain that looked like a house and said Trap Commander on it. They also took additional jewelry and other items from Mr. Smith to include earrings, a diamond and gold necklace, 2 iPhones, his car keys. They then went and jumped inside his vehicle, which was a 2003 GMC Savannah. They then fled the location after robbing him. Again, both of the individuals had guns. Mr. Smith initially called 911. He had left the location. A friend was able to take him to his brother's house, which was in Clayton County. When he called 911 in Clayton County, they advised he had to come back to the city of Atlanta. He did come back to the city of Atlanta and was able to encounter police, where he reported what happened to him a few hours earlier. During his time,
That's crazy.
Explained to the police what happened. He gave a description of one of the defendants. He said that he knew or was familiar with one of the defendants from the neighborhood. Although he had a ski mask on, he noticed 2 things: his eyes as well as his hands, and that he was missing a finger.
That's crazy.
Mr. Smith was able to provide to law enforcement officers social media pages of first Durante Beebe wearing his chain and identifying him as the person with the missing finger that had robbed him. Mr. Beebe was on social media promoting the chain, having the chain, some would say flossing the chain in front of the camera, which was the chain that was stolen from him. Further investigation into social media, the officers were able to identify the co-defendant, Christian Eppinger, as the other person who robbed him. Officers were also able to get the social media information from Instagram, and they actually found on Instagram a recording of Christian Eppinger bragging about robbing Darius Smith that was turned over in discovery. After arrest warrants were taken out, Mr. Beebe was arrested, interesting enough, back at that same location in November of 2021 at the same 47 Cleveland Avenue, where he was arrested, arrested on these charges. And then Christian Eppinger was arrested subsequently on these charges in February of 2022 after he shot Officer David Rogers. Additionally, Your Honor, we have social media postings of Mr. Beebe and Mr. Eppinger that are a part of our overt acts in this indictment, which shows them being part of and associated with the conspiracy. Mr. Beebe in Act 143 of count 1 of our indictment is posting a picture along with co-conspirator Christian Eppinger wearing what we call an OTS sweatshirt, which is only the slime sweatshirt and sweatpants, again showing his association with the enterprise and the fact that he's acting in furtherance of this enterprise and to promote this enterprise, Your Honor. This is some of the evidence that the state would intend to show if this case were to move forward with trial, Your Honor.
Mr. Beebe, good afternoon, sir. Sir, did you have the opportunity to fully discuss the facts and circumstances of this case and the matters in indictment 21 SC 1777912 and 23 CP 218502 with your attorney, Mr. Partridge, to your satisfaction?
Yes, sir.
And do you have any questions about any of the rights that you give up by entering a guilty plea in this case? Those rights were set forth on the record by Ms. Simone Hilton from the District Attorney's Office. Do you have any questions about those rights you wish to ask me?
No, sir.
Did you give this plea, did you have a chance to also read and sign the indictment that I'm holding up here?
Yes, sir.
Okay, do you have any questions about the indictment as it pertains to you in counts 1, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 27, or 28 you want to ask me?
No, sir.
All right, I don't know if the indictment's been signed, the plea has been entered. Mr. Beebe, based upon the responses that you've given during the court's inquiry, I'm going to find that your guilty plea is freely and voluntarily entered. I find a factual basis for your plea, and I'm going to accept your plea as tendered and as negotiated. So as to count 1, conspiracy to violate the Racketeering, Influence, and Corrupt Organizations Act, this court will sentence you in accordance with your negotiated plea to 10 years to serve 5 years with the balance probated. As to count 8, theft by receiving stolen property felony, this court will sentence you in accordance with the negotiated plea to 2 years commuted time served concurrent with count 1. As it pertains to count 9, violation of the Georgia Controlled Substances Act, this court will sentence you to 2 years commuted to the time you've already served concurrent to count 1. Did I say count 8 correctly? Count 8 is theft by receiving stolen property. All right, okay, let me just redo that one again. That's theft by receiving stolen property firearm. The court will sentence you to, that's count 8, 2 years commuted to time served concurrent with count 1. We go back through count 9, that's violation of the Georgia Controlled Substances Act. That's 2 years commuted to time you've already served concurrent with count 1. As it pertains to count 10, violation of the Georgia Controlled Substances Act, this court will sentence you to 2 years commuted to time served concurrent with count 1. As it pertains to count 11, possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, this court will sentence you to 5 years to serve concurrent with count 1. Count 12, participation in criminal street gang activity, this court will sentence you to 5 years consecutive to count 1. And on count 27, armed robbery, this court will follow the recommendation on reduction to robbery by force, will sentence you to 10 years to serve 5 years with the balance on probation. As it pertains to count 28, hijacking a motor vehicle in the first degree, this court will sentence you to 10 years to serve 5 years concurrent to count 1 with the balance on probation. The special, I'll also give you credit toward the sentence that has been or is going to be adjudged from November the 17th of 2021.
You already do enough.
Adjudicated time that you may have to serve on a couple of these counts. The state has also acknowledged that they're going to pull or withdraw the recidivist notice so that you will be eligible at some point in time at the discretion of the Department of Corrections, as we mentioned, to be parole eligible. I don't know when that will be. I'm just going to tell you that because that's their exclusive purview. But at some point in time, by withdrawing that notice, they will be able to consider you for parole, okay? All right, special conditions of your sentence are as follows. You shall abide by each and every and all terms of the negotiated plea. You understand that? Yes, sir. Okay. If you're called to testify by any party in this case, the state's not going to call you, but if any of the other parties call you, you have to testify truthfully, okay? Yes, sir. All right. You can't possess any guns unless and until your right to do so is restored. You understand that? Yes, sir. All right. You cannot commit any criminal acts. You understand that? Yes, sir. You can't promote or allude to YSL in public or on any social media platform. You understand that? Yes, sir. All right. And failure to abide by any special condition of probation shall result in a revocation. That means you'll come back before myself or another judge to determine whether or not you've violated the terms and conditions of your probation. So it will subject you to a revocation, and if that revocation is proven, the state's telling you that they're going to ask that any remaining portion be revoked. Do you understand that? Okay, all right. You also acknowledge the fact that you've given up your Fifth Amendment right related to any statement contained within the defendant's factual acknowledgments, which is a separate document which you are going to sign. You understand that, right? Yes, sir. Okay, all right. Mr. Beebe's explained that to you. Mr. Partridge has explained that to you.
Mr. Beebe,
okay,
that's the dude he robbed.
You also agree that you'll make no attempt to assert Fifth Amendment privilege if you're questioned on these matters. You understand that, right? So, yes, sir. Yeah, so if you're called later, if it's something you have to testify to, you'll have to testify in accordance with that, all right? All right? Yes. Okay, all right. Do you have any questions about the plea that has been entered in this particular case, Mr. Beebe? Anything you want me to answer? No, sir. All right.
Oh, he's Mr. Beebe.
Satisfied with the advice and counsel of Mr. Partridge? Yes, sir. All right. And do you have any questions about any of the indictment or any of the plea documents that you have been asked or have been presented to you? All right. And do you give this, let me just ask this one more time. As to counts 1, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 27, and 28, how do you plead to these particular counts under the indictments that pertain to you? Guilty. And you give this guilty plea freely and voluntarily, means your own decision to enter a plea this afternoon? Yes. Okay, all right. And sir, then I find that based upon the responses that you've given in the colloquy in this case, and the court's questioning you, that your pleas are freely and voluntarily entered, I find a factual basis. I'm going to go ahead and accept your pleas as standard negotiated sentence you to the as indicated. You're 23 years old. You've had enough trial in your life at this point in time.
Right.
Would you agree? Yes. Time to have a little testimony. Time to reclaim your own life, and that you can do in this case, or if you just separate yourself from the people that you've been hanging out with.
find some new friends, find some new people that are going to be positive in your life. And if they don't add to your life, then you need to cut them loose, because that's the way you'll be able to have a decent life and a life where you won't have to worry about somebody doing this all the time, knocking on your door trying to find you for some other reason.
That's facts.
Also, put your life at risk. So just something to think about, okay? But do you have any other questions of me? All right, young man, then that's that.
Nah, that's facts. Cause check me out, gang. I remember when I was a kid too, I used to think like that, bro. I remember one time I was hanging out. It was in Trinidad, bro. We went to Movie Town, and somebody called, and they was like, "Yo, who there? Who will you see? Alright, I coming." And I remember thinking to myself, bro, this is not it. Where you gotta call your homies to find out who's at the spot, because if the ops is there, you can't pop out. I was like, nah, bro, this ain't it. That's not the life. And like, I think now in hindsight, I think it was thinkings like that or thoughts like that had me starting to really change and become who I am now. But yeah, gang, sometimes you just gotta take your opportunities, because the amount of years that he facing, bro, bro, he better not tweet nothing about YSL, son. Thanks for watching today's video. That was me trying to check out the update on YSL's case. Now with that little spiel right there, it looked like people getting little opportunities. It looked like the judge, he really have some sort of a softer heart, and he's growing impatient with the prosecution team. He probably just like, you know, enough of this. Like, y'all dragging these young black men through the dirt. I'm gonna just get them out of here. All they gotta do is behave. If they misbehave, then we slap them with the books. Because like we said in the original clips, the short that we watched, he's upset. He's very upset, and he want to see what the prosecution got to say on the 16th. Anyways, once again, thanks for watching my video. If you like my drawings on the side, you could follow, subscribe, comment, like, share, anything, join the membership, anything, everything is greatly appreciated. Thank you again, and I'm going to see y'all in the next one.